Today, for the first time in history, the US to count cryptocurrency as an asset for a mortgage. First time in history. BTC is at a crucial level, but following the M2 suggests we do go up. But first, Infinex Connect drops Monday for patrons. Let's get amongst it. Infinex Connect is something that I'm very, very bullish on. I'm going to link this below. It's 10 minutes worth of watch. Retail has not come into this cycle. This was probably going to be what retail is going to use. Solflare, Phantom wallets. This allows you to connect to Aave and synthetics a lot more in the future, and Fogo as well. Let's have a look at what's actually happening in the market. So the NASDAQ 100 is at all-time highs, and the S&P 500 is at 0.9% away from its all-time highs. So the traditional markets are bullish. This is the most shared copied Bitcoin chart on the planet per Julian, and we can see that like M2 is following, or rather Bitcoin is following M2 like really, really well, and this suggests we go up. You can see it right here, where we are right now. We come up for a few weeks and then we start to go down based on this. Will it be like completely perfect? No. And of course, we don't have a crystal ball to see what happens. If things escalate in the Middle East, it's going to put a dampener on things. But thus far, it looks very, very positive. Fear and greed, however, we're at 74. Most people are going to go buy when it's greedy and not buy when it's fearful. And if we zoom out, we can see over the last year, we've only had like one period where we're like around 80. Everything else has really been in this boring time of like 70, 78, 74, something like that. And then we've dipped down further. You can go and cross-reference this yourself. Every time it dips down to be fearful, it is typically a buy signal. And we have not entered any of this euphoric zone like over 80 or 90. Bitcoin itself, you just need to be mindful of the fact that although M2 suggests we go up, the chart doesn't look like we're super, super strong. We have to climb above 111,900 to start to be having a lot more of a bit of breakout of fun. And like longing or shorting right now, it's just not something I'm not really interested in at all. You can go and use your fib tool though, and this is a good idea. Each point you take, having a look at the time frame that you're interested in, I'm far more inclined to buy levels, and then I can DLM a range if I want to. It won't be a huge amount of volume, won't be a whole lot of fees, but something, and then just sell as things go up. You can kind of buy down in a bid-ask system and then sell up. You can do this with Meteor, and you can do it with Hawkfire as well. As another example, we can see the channel here, and this is where we need to break out of. So if we do break out, then we will have new TA. But for now, it's a little bit risky, and I would much rather be buying at these points and just skipping opportunities. We also have this as an idea. Like if things really start to go down because it's just a boring low volume market, then you have to zoom out and check your fibs here and go and buy at lower prices if you're interested in going in. And there is, like as Ben Cohen has said, there's not a huge amount of strength in the market for anything other than Bitcoin. That's where it's all kind of been flowing. Hyperliquid as well. It's currently under its trend line, which is bearish. There's some people suggesting if you zoom out, so it looks like we could go down quite a bit. And so because we've broken this period, it's something that I'm not as excited about right now. Also, there is like so much chatter about clubs now, and other projects are taking attention, even if Hyperliquid's still getting a lot of volume itself. It's just no longer a one-horse race for the DEX kind of side of things. Other people are going to ship really cool things like Fogo, Bullet, and who knows what else is coming out. But for anyone to be competitive, they need to be in the same kind of idea. But you can go and set the same system of ideas of where you want to put some bids or buy orders as well. Solana is not looking really, really hot, to be perfectly honest. And we've just been holding onto the 0.5. And I'm not expecting it to underperform as much as Ethereum, but this is where Ethereum was in a range. I don't have the chart ready for us today, but we can see this here as well. 0.5 is not really exciting. And like the impetus to push up is not clear with the narrative right now. Of course, I do believe Solana will do well long term, and just take the soul, stake it with Validate.com, learn some tricks, learn a bit of TA, and maybe do some airdrop farming if that's your kind of thing. Fabiano, Jussie, they have good threads on that kind of stuff. Otherwise, we could flick down to 130 where we had resistant support before, and this could be a nice place to put you some buy orders. Sui does not have the same strength as well. Raul Paul obviously talks about it, but ever since the hack, it's kind of showed that trading in DeFi is really the only proper use cases right now, and Sui's not like super primed for that at present. These levels were fun and euphoric, and we haven't been there for quite some time. However, run your own fibs, see where you want to enter into the level. I don't think the ecosystem is dead or anything like that. I think it still has a whole lot of potential, but it may not do as well as Sol in the short term, nor Bitcoin and hype. The market cap of USDT dominance, this has been coming down, which is why we've seen things do a lot better. But what we're, of course, after is we're after a break of like 4.4% down here. And then from there, we start to get a lot more fun. And as we trend towards this, this is when we are in our altcoin season fun times. In terms of liquidations, nothing crazy, 200 million. The volume had initially picked up and now it's kind of dropped down again with a reset. We're pretty close to 50-50. I'm not going to go over today. I'm not going to go over who's long and who's shorting because the market makers, like it's kind of too tight, too boring. I don't think it's really, really euphoric. One thing to really point out though is Bitcoin is getting a whole lot more attention, and this attention is coming in the form of ETFs. There's been no negative days since June 9, despite there being bearish like war news during this entire period, and that's really important to keep in mind. This is probably some of the biggest news I've ever seen, to be honest, and some people are going to be very, very pro for it, and others not so pro for it. But after significant studying, Trump's vision to make the United States the crypto capital of the world all relates to being able to count cryptocurrency as an asset for a mortgage. A lot of people don't want to sell their Bitcoin. You'll be able to then, I guess, use in some sort of collateral fashion in some kind of form so that you can get out a mortgage. Very early days, but I think this is pretty big. There's an article on this regarding Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac as an overview, but like mortgages, just as a bit of an idea, like the chance of owning your own home, this is the American dream. This dream has been made clear, and I think that was probably the big reason for success in the US. You could go to the US with nothing and make something of yourself, but they also pushed out this idea of like every family can own a home, and this really led to this major debt cycle that's gone year after year. And of course, it is a nice thing to own your own home in many respects. So maybe this is the thing that starts to push things up to this more euphoric state, especially if rates can be dropped. Here's some news from Gumshoe. This is a good piece of alpha here. I like Sanctum a lot, but these kind of actions could potentially push up the price of cloud. Do your own TI on that. If you've got some cloud, you may want to take some profits. It is an LST and project that I think has a whole lot of potential. But this is $432 million worth of soldiers, boom, gone and staked on Sanctum. Also, this news is something worth keeping an eye on. This is Joint Republic launching mirror tokens. This was tried in the previous cycle. I haven't done a deep dive into this, but previously this was on Luna, Do Kwon's Luna, and it kind of imploded. But it's something to keep an eye on. It's probably going to have some sort of potential airdrop. I think they would have learned some lessons, and you can basically go and buy a token that kind of mirrors another price, but you're not buying that actual asset. I'm unsure exactly how all the ins and outs work on it. Maybe we can do a podcast on it or something like that. But the first token is SpaceX. So, you know, SpaceX on a lot of people's attention. That's really cool. Mirror token reflecting performance of the world satellite and launch leader. This is probably really cool, and it's coming soon. So join the waitlist, $50 minimum reservation, or just stay in tune. I'll keep you updated. Pulse, which is kind of like this thing here, which is Kudos, but Pulse is maybe a little bit of a better system, in my opinion, for like weights and whatnot. This is shipping really soon. You can jump in. I have a link below where you can get like $10 off or something like that, a bit of a referral thing. But I reckon this is cool. I think that the chance of success from someone, you know, this cycle is probably like decent, considering 99% of startups fail. Someone to find some sort of success here. I think it has like product market fit, health data, like a push for longevity, the Brian Johnson movement, the podcasts that cover all of it. This stuff allows you to own your own data, and it's just like a competitor to Whoop, which is worth billions. So I think this is really cool. And if you order one, go and update your shipping portal so that you can get one really, really soon. You come in here, you log in, you do your stuff, select your color, your strap size, confirm your shipping address, and hopefully you have it soon. That's everything for today. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.